So, hi everyone, my name is Catherine Chambers and I work at the P.E.I. Rape and Sexual Assault Center. And I was also very fortunate to be a facilitator in the small groups this evening and was a witness to a wonderful discussion, lots of great ideas and lots of energy, so appreciate that very much. So what Allison so skillfully did in our conversation, which I'm so appreciative of, is she, as people were talking, divided the talking points into themes as well as specific ideas. So what I'd like to do first is go through the themes and then go through the specific ideas that people had as well. So the first theme that we talked about was collaboration. So what does that look like? Everybody agreed that moving forward was a good idea, but how do we do that in a collaborative way? We talked about the theme of the environment, a focus on technology, identifying our community values, and having a fundamental shift in thinking. So not just thinking about economic considerations, but thinking about also, so in terms of financial capital, human capital, social capital, so having a more broad view. We talked about a focus on education, and using our human resources to the fullest. And we also had discussion of a change in the political system. Next page. We talked about the importance of connectivity, of a group consciousness, and the importance of building political will. We talked about the importance of having long-term planning from the government. And we talked about applying more objectivity to the political process. And at the very end, our last-minute issue was healthcare. So again, we could have a huge conversation about that, but we ran out of time. So when we thought about specifics, so in the conversation talking about, okay, these are the themes, these are our values, these are our hopes, these are our needs. So how do we get from point A to point B in a realistic way? So people talked about having a clear vision, the importance of having programs that help new Canadians not just come to P.E.I., but a way to retain new Canadians here so that they stay and contribute to our culture in the long run. We also talked about the retention of students in a similar way. A couple of people talked a lot about early intervention with youth, so more programs focused on intervening with youth at a very early age. There was a discussion about proportional representation in the political system. There was a discussion about actually taking research and developing policies specifically around research so that we're not just funding research in vain, that we're taking the results of the research and actually putting that into action in a real way. There was discussion about how to use social media in politics. The importance of more transparency in the political system. There was a lot of discussion about a sense of responsibility for ourselves, and I think that came up in one of the other groups. So how do we talk about being more responsible? What does that look like? How do we get there? There was some discussion of political term limits, so limiting the amount of time people could be in office. We talked about debt reduction. Specifically, there were some ideas that if we want the services, then we need to be willing to pay for them. So there was talk of increasing taxes. Increasing also taxes on things that contribute negatively to climate change. We talked about the importance of new infrastructure for environmental sustainability. Someone suggested report cards for the government. We talked also about building codes and the importance of regulation in land use planning. We also talked about the importance of a sustainable public transportation system, more public forums, so like the ones this evening, and a restructuring of the healthcare system to handle the current problems. That's it. Unless anyone else would like to add something I missed.